ending this span. They reap much happiness among the gods. Brothers of mine are there, my mother too. Glad for the pleasures that they now enjoy. Thera: Yasoja. Adapted from the archaic translation by Mrs. Rhys Davids. Yasoja. Reborn in this Buddha age at the gate of the city of Sāvatthī in a fisher's village, as the son of the headman of the fishermen's families, he was called Yasoja. Come of age, he was one day fishing with the fishermen's sons in the River Aciravatī. And casting his net, he caught a great gold-colored fish. They showed it to King Pasenadi, who said, "The Exalted One will know the cause of the fish's color." And the Exalted One told them that the fish had, in Kassapa Buddha's time, been a wicked bhikkhu, who had since then suffered in hell. That his sisters were still there, but that his brother as Thera had perfected life. And then for the good he taught the Kappila Sutta. Upon that Yasoja in deep emotion renounced the world, and his companions with him. Of his going with them to wait on the Exalted One at the Jetavana, and of their dismissal because of the noise they made on arriving, the record stands in the Udana. Dismissed, and living on the banks of the river Vigamuda, Yasoja, like a high-bred horse, his mettle stirred, strove and toiled till he acquired sixfold abhina. Thereafter the Exalted One sent for him. And he, from practicing all the special austerities, was emaciated and uncomely. Then the Exalted One commended his self-denial in this verse. Lo! Here a man with frame so pale and worn. Like knotted stems of cane his joints, and sharp. The emaciated network of his veins. In food and drink austerely temperate. His spirit neither crushed nor desolate. And Yasoja so commended, praised the love of solitude, and taught doctrine thus. In the great forest, in the mighty woods, touched though I be by gadfly and by gnat, I yet would roam, like warrior elephant, in van of battle, mindful, vigilant. Alone a man is even as Brahma, and as the angels if he have one mate. Like to a village is a group of three, like to a noisy crowd if more there be. Thera: Sattamatthiya. Adapted from the archaic translation by Mrs. Rhys Davids. Sattamatthiya. Reborn in this Buddha age in the kingdom of Magadha as a Brahman's son. He having the essential conditions entered the monk's order among the forest bhikkhus, and through study and practice acquired sixfold abhina. Upon that he instructed bhikkhus, and preached to many folk on the refuges and the precepts. One family in particular he converted to faith and trust. And in that house he was greatly welcomed, the only daughter, a pretty, lovely girl, respectfully providing him with food. One day Mara, plotting to disturb and disgrace him, took his shape, and going to the maiden, grasped her hand. But she, feeling that this was no human touch, loosed her hand. But the others in the house saw it and lost faith in the Thera. He, knowing nothing, perceived next day the changed manner. And discerning that Mara had been at work, he vowed to loose the dead dog from their neck, and made him tell him what had happened. And the house, hearing his explanation, begged his forgiveness, and declared he himself would wait upon him. The Thera told the matter in these verses. The trust you once did place in me, today it lives no more. What's yours is yours. But in this house no evil have I done. Transient and wavering is the layman's faith. So have I marked. Folk love and then grow cold. Why for that should a holy monk die? Cooked stands the sage's food a little here, a little there, in one clan or the next. I will go round to seek my little alms. My legs are strong enough indeed for that. Thera: Upali. Adapted from the archaic translation by Mrs. Rhys Davids. Upali. Reborn in this Buddha age in a barber's family, he was named Upali. Come of age he left the world, following Anuruddha and the other 5 nobles, when the Exalted One was staying at Anupiya Grove, as is recorded in the Pali. Now when he was taking a subject for exercise from the Lord, he said, "Send me not away, Lord, to live in the forest. Bhikkhu, you living in the forest, will develop one subject only. If you live with us, you will become proficient in both book knowledge and insight." The Thera, consenting to the Lord's word, practiced for insight, and in due time won arahantship. Moreover, the Lord himself taught him the whole Vinaya Pitaka. And later, after Upali had won the Lord's commendation of his decision in the 3 cases of Ajaka, the Kurukachaka Bhikkhu and Kumara Kassapa, he was ranked first among those who knew the Vinaya. One feast day, when he was reciting the Patimokkha, he thus addressed the monks. He who for faith's sake has renounced the world, and stands a novice in the monk's order new. Friends, let him choose of noble character, pure in their lives, of zeal unfaltering. He who for faith's sake has renounced the world, and stands a novice in the monk's order new. Among the monk's order let that bhikkhu live, and wisely learn its code of discipline. He who for faith's sake has renounced the world, and stands a novice in the monk's order new, skilled in what should be done, or left undone, let him unaccompanied hold on his way. Thera: Uttarapala. Adapted from the archaic translation by Mrs. Rhys Davids. Uttarapala. Reborn in this Buddha age at Sāvatthī in a Brahmin family, he was named Uttarapala. He saw the twin miracle, and believing, entered the monk's order, and pursued his studies. One day, amid desultory recollections, sensual desires beset him, but after a violent mental struggle, he arrested the corrupting moods, and in earnest meditation won arahantship. Upon that, reflecting on his victory, he uttered a lion roar. Me seeming wise, indeed, and spent enough in pondering on the things that make for good, me overthrew 5-fold desires of sense, bewilderers of the reason of the world. Though lodged in Mara's reach, by mighty dart assailed, yet did my strength suffice to win from trap set by the King of Death release. Now are all sense desires put far away. Now are all rebirths shattered once forever. Destroyed is birth and death's eternity. Now comes no more rebirth for me. Thera: Abhibhuta. Adapted from the archaic translation by Mrs. Rhys Davids. Abhibhuta. Reborn in this Buddha age in a Raja's family at the city of Vetapura, he was named Abhibhuta, and succeeded to the estate at his father's death. Now when the Exalted One arrived at his city on tour, Abhibhuta went to hear him, and on the morrow offered him hospitality. The Exalted One expressed the thanks he felt, and upon that taught him the path more in detail. Then the Raja found faith, left his estate for the monk's order, and realized arahantship. While he was living in the bliss of emancipation, his kindred, counselors and retainers came to him lamenting that he had left them without a chief. And he, teaching them the path by way of expressing the reason of his renunciation, said, "Hear, O you kinsmen, and give ear to me, all and as many as are gathered here. The path it is that you shall learn from me. Painful is birth again and yet again. Bestir yourselves, rise up, renounce and come, and yield your hearts unto the Buddha's rule. Shake off the armies of the King of Death, as did the elephant a hut of straw. Whosoever within this righteous discipline shall come with diligence to understand rebirth's eternal round put far away, all pain and suffering he shall end for yesay." Thera: